This is Fred Ricciani of TSC News here with Scott Anderson. We are here to recap WWE Survivor Series 2015, which saw a new WWE champion crowned. And, well, let's just say it didn't go poor Roman Reigns' way. It did not go his way at all. If you guys are wondering why I'm simulating this through WWE 2K16, well, one, it makes for a cool backdrop, and two, my old video setup and most recent one is down for the count yet again. Technical difficulties gave me a Superman punch and a spear, but by popular request, we are streaming live from my PS4, and we are simulating what we saw, which was Sheamus versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It was an impromptu match because, you see, Roman Reigns beat Alberto Del Rio in what had to be Del Rio's best match since returning. He beat Dean Ambrose in a really rushed, surprisingly underwhelming match to win the world title. They did the confetti and everything, the whole deal. Triple H came out, congratulated Roman Reigns, raised his hand in the air, and Roman Reigns ended up spearing him. Reigns got distracted, then Sheamus ran in, gave him a brogue kick, and after that, he kicked out. Roman Reigns looked like he was going to go for a spear because he ducked underneath, I think, a bro kick attempt or a clothesline. I think it was another bro kick attempt. It was weird. Sheamus hit him with the bro kick. He kicked out. Then Reigns, I think, got whipped into the ropes. Or so. Did he get whipped into the ropes, or did he just dodge another bro kick?
Let me think. He ducked the bro kick, went to the ropes. I think was going to go for a spear, maybe got bro kicked again. Something to that effect.
Yeah, something.
Too much confetti.
Wait, yeah, too much there's literally, the ring was literally drenched, because it was like torrential rain of confetti. And so, so Roman Reigns ducked a brogue kick, only to run into another one. If you're trying to build up Sheamus, at least have him get hit with a spear and kick out or something. I don't know. But, Sheamus hit him with another brogue kick. 1, 2, 3. And believe it or not, Sheamus, not Dean Ambrose, not Roman Reigns, not Kevin Owens, is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And not only that, he is your new top heel. Jesus mother frickin' Christmas. Sheamus is your top heel. I wasn't a big fan of, turning Dean Ambrose. I would have preferred Roman Reigns to turn heel. I think it just makes sense. I mean, he got booed in the main event and everything. But if I knew that they were going to have Sheamus cash in at the end of the night during a record low ratings period, I would have been like, you know what, just turn Ambrose. Just do a double turn, something. My God, what is this? Have Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has the potential, the talent, to be the top heel and draw money. Hell, based on all the merchandise he has on WWE Shop, based on the Intercontinental title that he has around his waist, I'd say he's doing pretty damn well for himself. So why not put him over the edge? I don't get it. And the thing that sucks is they blew through Ambrose and Reigns. It was a clean finish. That's a match they could have saved for WrestleMania, which would have had significantly more time. And instead it was just a ridiculously rushed affair. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll disagree with you. The match was rushed. Sheamus as the top heel is not going to last. It'll last maybe 3 weeks. This was put together on the fly, being what happened to Seth Rollins a couple weeks back. So, all in all, I can live with it for the time being. We know Reigns is going to be champion by January 2016. So I don't think it's that big of a deal to worry about it right now. If Kevin Owens had the Money in the Bank briefcase and Sheamus walked out of this pay-per-view with the title, that would be an issue. In this instance, it's not a bad thing necessarily. And, let's be honest, Triple H took care of one of the guys. So.
I just can't. I mean, I can believe it, but just really, I mean, between the
You knew it was coming. I mean, that's the thing.
You know what? You know what? You know how? You know what I did, right? I mean, we could talk about this because we were texting each other all day. Come up with scenarios and everything. And I texted you. I said, I completely forgot about Sheamus.
Yep.
I just think it's such a waste. I mean, we know what the guy is. The guy is what he is. He's a at best, upper mid-carder, a guy who can have some really good matches, but he's, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to being a main eventer, he's just the guy. He's just the guy. And look, to be fair to him, he did change his look. You know what I mean? He did rehab and get healthy again and everything, and I'm happy for him in that sense. But, you know, changing his look didn't do him any favors, because he changed his look. To a lot of people, he looks even more stupid, and they still booked him like a geek. If they at least protected him, I still wouldn't be a fan of this, but if they at least protected him the last 6 months, I would have been like, all right, you know what? At least it's a guy that's well protected. They're trying to make a top heel, whatever. But this is a guy who earlier in the night came out with the New Day, and by the way, Xavier Woods had a phenomenal Little Richard hairstyle, which was incredible. I love Xavier Woods. But it was like a throwaway 10-man tag, and I think, if I recall correctly, because I was watching The Walking Dead at the same time, Sheamus lost and got punked out by 3 babyfaces, which also is ass backwards booking, by the way. But that's another story for another day. And yet Sheamus left the arena the WWE champion. I don't know, man. I'd say that's a pretty damn big deal, and not in a good way.
I just think it's a transitional thing. I think come TLC, Roman Reigns will win the title back, and that would be that. That's my opinion, so I'm not worried about it.
Hang on. So you really think that they gave Roman the title for a cup of coffee and have Sheamus cash in just to have Reigns win the title again at TLC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
You know what?
This is WWE logic, for one. And for two, again, everything was rushed because of what happened to Seth Rollins. And, you know, I'm sure we've all read and heard stories that Reigns was going to win either at this pay-per-view or at TLC versus Seth Rollins.
I heard it was going to be Survivor Series, but it just I don't know. It's just so ridiculous. To me, it's like what I mean, I guess it's conceivable because if you really think about it, a few years ago they actually merged the two world titles at TLC. Actually, 2 years ago they merged the titles at TLC with Randy Orton and John Cena in an uneventful match. So stranger things have happened. I just don't see Sheamus doing anything for the ratings. The guy's proven he can't draw money. You know, he's a perfectly fine competitor and everything. He's a fine upper mid-carder. He's a fine occasional challenger for a B pay-per-view for the world title. But he's not a world champion. You had a chance to make a top heel here. You had a chance to make a real, honest-to-God top heel here. You need heels. Sheamus is your top heel. Didn't Sheamus just
top heel, though. Just because he's the guy with the belt doesn't make him the top.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's Triple H, which means we're probably going to get Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Oh boy. Actually, I don't even know if we're going to get Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania because, you know, the rumor is you know, Reigns and Cena, which honestly would make more sense if you want to make Reigns the guy and pass the torch. But, you know, Reigns versus Triple H wouldn't be a bad alternative either. This is just so ass backwards.
This is safe. I hate to say that because it makes no sense, but this is WWE being safe. They know what they have in Sheamus, and they're going to work with, you know, the best. It's kind of like having this starter in baseball. You know what he is. He goes out every 5 days, gives you 5 innings, 90 pitches. You know, he's just one of them guys. He's safe. And that's all this is, because they have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
They're scared to make anybody new, and it's just plain and simple. He's safe. Safe. That's one way of putting it. By the way, folks, if you're enjoying this recap right now and you're watching live on YouTube, please feel free to click the like button, share this with all your friends, and subscribe for more awesome videos. You can also tweet us your questions at Sports Courier on Twitter, at Fred Ricciani. You can also hit me up on Instagram at TSC News, Facebook.com/TheSportsCourier, or, again, if you're watching live, you can just comment on YouTube. And let's get to some of the comments here before we run down the rest of the card, because it's pretty much related to what we're talking about here. Buck N5 says, this whole tournament was a waste. You know, based on the results, even if you're talking from like a purely kayfabe standpoint, you know, to do that whole tournament only to have Roman Reigns lose, like right away. You know what? I think you could have had Roman Reigns. I still would be unhappy with this, but I would be happier if they gave Reigns like a full day with the title, and then on Raw had Sheamus cash in. Because, you know what I mean? You already had the big moment at the pay-per-view. You don't need to blow your load and do it twice. You know what I mean? And that way it'd get people talking about Raw, too.
since Raw is struggling with the ratings?
Well, I think that their WWE, unfortunately, watched it backwards, where they think now this is going to have people watch Raw tomorrow to see what the hell happened. Where the other way around, personally, I'm not a fan of what you said, just for the fact of, granted, times have changed, but, this is a pay-per-view, and you're paying the money to see the pay-per-view. That's where the action should happen, not on the free TV.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's different now, I get it, but that's always my biggest complaint. I don't mind it once in a while, but, let's not go back to the old WCW method here,
No, I feel you. I feel you. And, well, let's see. Roly Poly says, I am happy for Sheamus. I'm assuming Roly Poly is related to Sheamus. Matthew Allen says, this was so predictable. I hated this. Telvin Kipapa, who still has the coolest name I've ever heard, says, this was the most boring pay-per-view I've ever seen. Well, I recently reposted all my past Survivor Series recaps, and I'll tell you this, it was certainly not as boring as Survivor Series 2013, which was headlined by Randy Orton and The Big Show, which saw Big Show lose to Randy Orton because he heard Triple H's music. So if you think this is bad, Randy Orton versus The Big Show was pretty freaking bad.
I'm still glad I went to the bathroom during that match and I have no idea what happened.
You did?
I don't remember seeing the match. I think I did. I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, man. Telvin said if only Kevin Owens was the Money in the Bank winner. Look, I would have given him the Money in the Bank. Why not? You could have taken the briefcase off of Sheamus, but no, of course not. J1P2K says, what happened with the Brothers of Destruction and the Wyatt family? Well, I guess we should talk about that real quick. It was what Josh Nason of Figure 4 Online described as a greatest hits of The Undertaker. Kind of like, a band playing its greatest hits and everything. And you guys kind of got into a little bit of a Twitter spat over concerts and what you prefer. You said you like to go to you said you like to go to a concert and hear, say, Bon Jovi's greatest hits.
No,
and then
I said if I'm going to go see Garth Brooks, I don't want to hear the new stuff. I want to hear Friends and Low Place.
Okay.
And I think I stole that from a comedian or something at one time, but it's the truth. You're not going to see the new stuff. You're going to see the old stuff, and that's, you're celebrating 25 years. That's what you're going to do.
Right, and, this match it was pretty formulaic. It was Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper against Undertaker and Kane. Erick Rowan was such a freaking geek. He got the slowest double choke slam and maybe the worst one of all time in the ring, and then they're like, "Oh, Erick Rowan's left the arena. He's holding his back." Wow, what a geek! So it was Bray and Harper against Taker and Kane. The highlight for me was seeing Big Braun Strowman, aka Giant. He kind of looks like Nick Dinsmore a little bit. Who played Eugene. Giant. Yeah, kind of Giant Eugene. He also kind of looks like Bray if Bray had HGH or something and grew 10 inches. Not saying Braun's on anything. I'm just saying if Bray magically grew, he's kind of like. Oh, I guess that's the point. You know what I mean?
If Eugene, Nick Dinsmore and Bray Wyatt had a love child that was 7 feet tall, that's Braun Strowman.
Exactly. So Braun Strowman also took the slowest and lowest double choke slam of all time, but at least that one was through a table and looked kind of cool. And
Braun Strowman's as big as he is. So.
Yeah. So then Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper were trying to wreak some havoc. There was a near fall with the Sister Abigail, and Undertaker ultimately got the win via tombstone on Luke Harper. Of course, Bray Wyatt didn't get pinned, which would be fine, but at this point, what's there to protect? The guy's lost almost every feud. He's pretty much had... he's had some decent matches, but some of the crappiest angles surrounding these decent matches. It's almost like WWE decided, you know what, Kane, we're gonna share some of these crappy storylines you've had the last 15 years with Bray Wyatt. Is that okay? And Kane went, yeah, let Bray take him. So I really don't know where Bray Wyatt goes from here. Frankly, I really don't care. They had an opportunity to reset him last year, only to have him be more hokey, more wacky, and do more jobs. So honestly, I really don't care. And in a way, not that I have a desire to see Braun Strowman versus The Undertaker down the road, either at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. But if you're gonna bring in Braun Strowman, a guy who's as green as him, who had maybe 10 or 15 matches prior to coming into the main roster, and I'm talking about NXT. Yeah, I don't even know if he had any matches in in the Indies or anything. I think in NXT he had like 10 or 15. But if you're gonna bring in a guy that green and you're gonna bring him in based on his size and everything, why not protect him? You know what I mean? I mean, it was a cool spot, but you could have done that with Erick Rowan. You know what I mean? You could have just clotheslined Braun somewhere. I mean, whatever. It's a minor nitpick, but just I'm just saying if you're gonna call the guy up anyway and make him this monster,
Two things about this match. One, at least it's Kane, not Demon Kane anymore, thank God.
Yeah.
And two, if you notice when Undertaker went for the tombstone, he couldn't quite get Luke Harper up. He had to tell Luke Harper to reposition himself.
Right.
Go back and watch it, you'll see it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeremy. Oh, and you know what? You and I talked about this off the air, Scott. And Jeremy Bowers brings this up. By the way, I want to say I'm sorry to Jeremy Bowers, a loyal Baltimore Ravens fan, because he lost his quarterback, Joe Flacco, for the year, and maybe for parts of next year with the torn ACL. And Justin Forsett, we've got a gruesome broken arm injury. Yeah, and speaking of arm injuries, I heard Cesaro is going to be having shoulder surgery.
Yeah, it looks possible that could happen.
Oh, that's...
Jim Ross, I think, reported it, so, yeah.
Yeah, so Cesaro's on the show.
He wasn't on the pay-per-view tonight, now thinking about it.
Yeah.
He could have been in that 5-on-5.
Oh, poor Cesaro. That sucks. I mean, shoulder injuries have ravaged these guys, man. Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, who's had a history of shoulder problems, Hideo Itami. How about this? And I'm not saying this is the freaking, answer to everything or whatever, but how about you don't do those stupid spots where you hit the steel pole with your shoulder every time?
Yep.
Yeah, and there were a lot of silly spots here.
You only protect yourself, but so much.
Yeah, I'll say this. There wasn't I mean, it's been the case for a while now, but there were an abundance of super kicks in the match. Luckily, none during the Undertaker match. But anyway, Jeremy Bowers says, WWE is trying to artificially recreate what happened with Bryan when he was constantly screwed. Problem is, Reigns does not have that same kind of connection with the crowd Bryan has. I agree, and I think they've gotten to the point, or are about to get to the point now, where even if Reigns wins the title again, nobody's gonna care. They got very lucky. They got very lucky with Bryan, because if you look at it, look at the history of certain guys, okay, like Lex Luger, and granted, Bryan was never as protected or pushed like Lex Luger. But Lex Luger was a guy that WWE pushed and pushed and pushed and was pretty popular, kind of like Reigns, actually. But, he had the chance to win the title. He had a chance to be elevated, and they waited too long, and they didn't end up giving him the title, or he lost it at the wrong time, or he lost the big one at the wrong time. And then after that, it was so hard for people to care about him that they ended up going with Bret Hart. Now, could you see a scenario like that where, they try with Reigns, and then they end up going with Ambrose? No?
No, it's a different time. It is. I think 15, 20 years ago, yeah, but it's a different time. They're going to push Reigns. Whether we want it or not, they're going to shove him down our throats. And I don't mind him so much. I mean, the guy, his matches today weren't, the two matches he had weren't bad. Well, three matches, but, the two matches weren't bad. He, Del Rio, obviously did what he did, for Reigns, but they're going to make Reigns the next top baby. He's the next John Cena.
I don't, but
a couple days ago, the crowd's already doing him.
But you know what?
So why not?
Yeah, but he's not the next John Cena. He's not, and I don't think he sells. I'm almost certain he doesn't sell as much merch as Cena. I think if you push the guy, to me, if you turned Kevin Owens in the right scenario and made Kevin Owens like a Stone Cold type of character, I feel like that guy would be a license to print money if you had the right heels lined up for him.
Yeah, but don't we see that about Dean Ambrose also?
Yeah, I think those two guys. Those two guys could be your top babyface, your top heel, and it just. I'm not even saying Reigns can't be champion, but I just think at this time, and I think Stone Cold mentioned this, if I'm not mistaken, in his podcast. Pretty sure it was Stone Cold. Flip Reigns, make him a heel, play into the boos. Don't go against the crowd reactions. Play into it and use it to draw money. And then, you know what? You can get to the point where, maybe fans start cheering Reigns. Maybe fans start appreciating him more. Maybe because he's allowed to have more leeway on the mic and not just do some stupid scripted promos, maybe, just maybe, he'll get over more. And then you can turn him babyface eventually, and he'll be one of your top stars, and he'll be a bigger star than he is now. kind of like The Rock. Now, granted, I don't think he'll ever get to the level of The Rock. He ain't The Rock. But I'm saying, the way it worked for The Rock in '98 and '99, it could work for Reigns. It could.
It could, but again, it's just a different time, man. That's the problem. It's not what it was. All this on paper it sounds good, but the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles on paper sound good, but in reality, you get beat by Tampa. I just wanted to mention that because I think it's hilarious.
That the Eagles lost to Tampa Bay. Yeah, but hang on. But you're saying it's a different time. It is a different time. I think that could still stuff like that kind of storytelling can still work. The problem is it's not the story. All right, it's not the story that's necessarily different that needs to be told. It's how it's told. It's the execution. It's how bad this company is at telling stories these days. Do they know how to tell a real story anymore?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say it's a different time. I don't mean, it's not the Attitude Era. I mean the way the storylines are, the way the creative is. It's just not the same. It's not what it was, and that's the issue. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Reigns wins the belt tomorrow on Raw and just drop it to Sheamus at TLC, and then have Reigns win it at the Rumble. They just don't have a clue. Or Sheamus will have a non-title match versus Sin Cara tomorrow night and lose. I mean, it's just that's the way they do things.
That is the way they do things, and it's really lame. And Telvin mentions what you complained about earlier, which was Neville losing like a geek. I didn't watch the pre-show. You told me that Neville lost to Bo Dallas.
All right. Here, let's go back to the beginning. Since you didn't see it, I'll mention because we did have a return tonight in that pre-show match as well. So the pre-show, unadvertised match. It was a 5-on-5 traditional. The Miz, Bo Dallas, because, Stardust in the Ascension versus the Dudleys, because they're now on the pre-show. Neville, who the heck was the fourth? Somebody and the returning Gold. So that was cool to see Goldust come back at least. Neville was the only one eliminated from his team, and he got taken out by everybody's finishing move. It was just horrible.
I don't get it. He's so talented.
I don't get it either. Well, there was a story, and again, I don't know if you saw it, where these guys are they're just there to lose. And he's one of them. It's a shame. I mean, it really is. It's a shame. But it's just what they do. I mean, the guy's very talented, and they just don't get it, at all. I mean, it's almost a curse of the NXT guy. It really is.
It's a shameful thing, a lobster head.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss of words, but it's just I mean, the match. Here's how bad the match was. 15 seconds into it, Goldust hits a power slam on Victor, I believe it was, and hits him with a power slam. So.
Wow.
It was kind of like one of those. Yeah, if you remember, what was it, Survivor Series 97, 96 with fake Diesel and Razor Ramon when the guy hit an elbow drop and got pinned, and somebody hit like a leg drop and got. It was just horrible.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly recap the rest of the show. Then we'll get to all the questions we're getting here. We had that pre-show match that was useless. Reigns beat Alberto in a really good match. Really good match. Ambrose beat Kevin Owens in a really good match, but with the benefit of hindsight, would have liked to have seen Owens win. We had Tyler Breeze beat Dolph Ziggler in a very rushed match. I mean, it got Tyler Breeze over in a sense that he was pretty dominant, but way too rushed. It would have been nice, excuse me, if these guys had maybe 15 minutes or so. I heard they tore it down in house shows, but it was kind of lacking here. But it was kind of lacking here, unfortunately. Although, as we talked about off air, it's probably going to air on Raw anyway. So we'll probably see it 100 times.
By the way, I'm sorry, I was going to say it was Titus O'Neil was the fifth member in the pre-show match, which I don't get because I guess Darren Young is injured or something.
Doesn't matter.
I wanted to give Titus his credit.
It doesn't matter. We had Charlotte versus Paige, which of course is built up by one of the most tasteless angles in recent WWE history, and that's saying something. And for people that have asked me my thoughts on them mentioning Reed Flair, all I got to say is it's a total prick move of WWE to release that statement, have a non-apology, and then say, oh, well, it was Charlotte's idea, pretty much, and kind of put the blame on her. It's just complete BS. And based on the reaction of Ric Flair and his ex-wife, Beth Flair, tasteless. It's only been 2.5 years since Reed Flair, Charlotte's brother, Ric Flair's son, died. When Rick found him dead, okay? Rick found his son dead after an accidental heroin overdose, okay? Think about that, okay? Think about how horrifying that has to be for anybody, particularly a parent. A parent, okay? That's the worst thing that can happen to a parent, okay? The worst thing. So what do? They don't even call Rick, who's allegedly one of Hunter's best friends, who they respect, who's their Hall of Famer, who's their talent. They don't give a heads up to Beth Flair. It's like, what? It's just ridiculous, and it drew no money. It didn't increase any ratings. It didn't create any more interest in this match. And this match was okay. Wasn't great. It was okay.
It wasn't bad.
It was
dragged on a little bit. The crowd was dead. So.
Crowd was dead. Crowd didn't care, which makes that angle a complete waste. And I gotta say, while I admire Charlotte's athleticism, while I think she's marketable to some extent, she is certainly lacking in the ring compared to her other NXT counterparts, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch, for sure. And you know what? I gotta say the same thing about Paige, because while Paige is really good on the mic, you know, she, frankly speaking, outside of a select few matches, I'm not saying she's bad at all, but I think she's kind of overrated at this point. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, it's been a while since she's had a really good match. It's been a long time.
It has, but unfortunately, I think it's been since like the first NXT Takeover pay-per-view, because they really just don't give the main roster divas any time and any chances.
True. I mean, look, maybe.
I mean, name a time on main roster where really anybody's had a good match.
I mean, I know she had a good match with Natalya a while ago. Actually, she had a good match with Becky Lynch on not Becky Lynch. I'm sorry, Sasha Banks on SmackDown a few weeks back. But outside of that, here and there, I mean, when's the last time she had like a really, really good match? You know, maybe it's just quality of opposition and the storylines and her flipping from babyface to heel almost every week. You know, it could just be that, because I think she is talented. I think Charlotte's talented too. But again, I do think that to some extent both divas, especially Charlotte, you know, coming out of NXT, kind of overrated. I could be wrong, but that's my observation there. But Charlotte got the win with the figure eight. Highlight of the match came when Charlotte speared Paige off the barricade onto the floor. Kind of, yeah. It was like a slow motion, you know, little botch deal, and
it was a weird ending, though. You know, I think me and a friend of mine were texting each other about it. The ending was just, she had her in the figure eight, but it seemed like it went on for hours, and then Paige just tapped out. Like, it just, I don't know, something about it just didn't seem right either.
Right, and speaking of hours, the one complaint I have about the Del Rio match with Roman Reigns was just, I felt like more than ever, those guys were waiting forever to hit their moves. It's like, I can understand to some extent to get the crowd into it, like Randy Orton does with the RKO, but this took forever. It's like they took forever to set up the Tree of Woe spot and then have Del Rio go for the double foot stomp. It took forever for Roman Reigns to try to go for the spear. If you remember, they got a close-up of Roman Reigns, like shaking his head like the Ultimate Warrior, getting ready to go for the spear, and he was shaking his head. Del Rio slowly got up. Roman Reigns is shaking his head. Then they cut to Del Rio slowly getting up. Then Roman Reigns does this primal Super Saiyan scream, and then he goes for the spear. It felt like a good minute. In a real fight, you know what I mean? If Ronda Rousey had an opening for an armbar, you think she'd wait a minute? You know, if Anderson Silva had an opening to hit a front kick in the face, would he you know, wait a minute? I mean, seriously, like, come on, Chris Weidman, like any of these guys, John Jones, like. If this were real, like, or it's more topical, I guess, Canelo Alvarez, you know, like, come on, man. Oh, man, I don't know. It was.
You're reading too much into it, my friend. You're right, but you're reading too much.
I'm not reading too much into it. Just a minor thing, just kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Well, I have a minor thing at the end. I want to touch on, but let's keep recapping right now.
Okay. And I think we're pretty much there. I mean, we had the New Day come out.
There was the other unadvertised match, which sucked too.
Yeah, the New Day came out with Sheamus and Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's got a penciled-in mustache now. And, Sheamus just came out looking all awkward, like the awkward white guy. And the New Day just cut this great promo. I wish they would have stopped at the promo. Because once the match started against Ryback and the Lucha Dragons and the Usos, it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Outside of a brief scene where all the guys were dancing except for Sheamus. But, yeah.
The Sheamus dance was kind of good.
Yeah.
He's kind of doing his old jig there, but, hey, whatever.
All right, so what irked you at the end? Because we got a lot of questions we got to get to.
All right. And here's what bothered me, and it's not even WWE related, but I'm sure most everybody knows at this point that there was a rumored terror threat possible at this pay-per-view.
Oh, with ISIS, yeah.
Yes. Well, at the very end, not the very end, but as Roman Reigns is celebrating his title, they decide to shoot off all the cannon guns, on the rampart or whatever. I just think it's just an unnecessary thing to do in that type of situation. So.
To have pyro?
When the confetti's coming down and they're shooting off all the pyro, even Reigns kind of looked like, what the hell's going on? And just to me, you have these types of things going on, and you're going to do something like that. I think they're just stupid on WWE's part.
Yeah, but they had the pyro for the Usos.
I know, and they had the pyro. Yeah, but that was for the Usos. You always get the pyro. That's what I'm saying. This was like an unexpected pyro.
But he won the title. They wanted to swerve people. I don't think that's. I don't have an issue with that. I think
it was too much. You can do the fireworks, but the big booms I think were unnecessary in this particular moment. That's all.
All right. I can see where you're coming from, but I also see them saying, you know what, it's a threat that we heard about, but it's unconfirmed, and I don't know. I mean, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that plays into all the paranoia and everything, and.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what though? I mean, God forbid something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I think the security had it down on lock. Plus, they didn't allow even people to bring purses or anything. Right. To the arena. They put out that tweet earlier. So, I know, I get what you mean, but I don't know. I don't think I'd
like the whole Reed Flair angle. You're talking about people. From what I read, came to Vince and said, let's maybe not do this. Vince said, no, we're gonna be at the final decision. So, it's just one of them stupid things. Like, you don't need, certain times, certain situations, you don't need those type of things. Yes, the Dudleys had that power when they came out, so did Neville, and I get in Kane, I get that, but those guys do that. You're expecting that, You don't need that at that moment. That's all I'm saying.
And you're talking about just for this particular pay-per-view based on the threat?
Just for this pay-per-view, just for that moment, you didn't need that extra pyro there.
Okay.
It wasn't the lightning and all that. It was the extra, I don't know.
The extra boom? The extra boom?
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the extra, there was just no need for it at that moment. With what's going on, and look, I understand, you're trying to say, F you to whatever could happen, that, we're not going to let it affect us, but I don't think, just my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, let's get to some of the questions here. Talvin also says they think they're trying to book Reigns like Daniel Bryan in 2013. Yep, unsuccessfully. J1P2K says, I don't care about WWE. I watch indie groups, and you also watch TSC, so I appreciate it, buddy.
Talvin's asking what happened with the Paige and Natalia angle. It's WWE. They just dropped it like a bad habit.
Yeah. Let's see. Zip Away says, buy or sell XFL or the WBF or both. You lose money, but which would be better to lose? Oh, man.
It's WBF.
Yeah, WBF for sure.
What is WBF?
What?
What's WBF?
That was the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I'd rather buy the XFL. At least it had a TV deal,
Yeah, I'd buy the XFL, too. At least they had He Hate Me.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Do you think we're getting Reigns versus Triple H at some point? Yeah, I do.
Danny boys telling me to stop bitching about the pyro and call me a pansy. It's not about a pansy. It's just principle. That's all I'm saying.
You kind of sound like a principal right now, like a high school principal.
No.
Think about the children. I know.
That's all I'm saying.
I know.
That'd be like at the Boston Marathon, them shooting off cannons for the winner.
Yeah, but WWE, you're always going to get pyro.
I understand, but just unnecessary pyro. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, Scott. Don't be a man. Okay, to quote the Macho Man Randy Savage, be a man, Hulk. Come on, don't be scared.
Look, as the grandfather of this whole TSC getting up here, I get bitchy in my old age, okay?
All right. There you go. All right.
I admit it, all right?
All right, don't worry. We'll get to your Depends soon.
No, let's not do that.
Oh, God. By the way, I got some tweets earlier that said that people were having some issues with WWE Network. You said you were having some issues as well.
At the beginning, I was, yeah.
I decided to test it out on a bunch of devices. My Xbox One ran pretty smooth, although I have to say streaming quality-wise, the network is definitely a lot lower than, say, like Netflix or HBO or any of that. And granted, a lot of that stuff is on demand, and I think full 1080p. But still, I just feel like sometimes it doesn't look HD, even when the stream's running well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
I was watching on my Roku and I noticed that. I didn't think it was HD. A lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I know they say they can only go up to 720p, or that's what they said a couple years ago when they revealed the network. But that didn't look 720p to me. And I'll tell you this: on my laptop, it kept freezing. On my phone, it worked all right. Xbox One worked fine, but there was a delay. PlayStation 4 actually was the closest to real time. The only annoying thing, dude, and how ironic, in our simulation, I put it as an Iron Man match because I know we were going for a while in this recap. Sheamus wins the title here. That's hilarious. What was I saying? Oh, the annoying thing, and I think some people may have noticed this as well, right, is maybe I'll do another match right here. The annoying thing is every time I put it on another device, or even when I exited, like real quick, I'm still in the app, and then I pressed the play button to go to live. It freaking gave me that stupid disclaimer every time of like these characters are fictitious, whatever, blah blah blah, and then and then after that, it gave me the stupid
every single time.
That stupid rating every single time when I'm already in the app.
Yeah.
So freaking annoying.
Yeah.
Like, really annoying. Oh.
Hey, Tobin just made an interesting thought. If Daniel Bryan were to come back at the Rumble, could you have Sheamus and Bryan at WrestleMania 32?
Oh God! At this point, I think Bryan's career is almost over. I had some cautious optimism because that Arizona Cardinals doctor cleared him. And from what I understand, he's actually a pretty credible doctor. And with all due respect to Dr. Joseph Maroon, but considering Hornswoggle's the only one in the last, 3 years to fail a wellness test, and he's the head of the wellness policy, I'm not saying I'm going to call BS, but,
Suspending Sheamus for 30 days is kind of like, no analogy needed. Well, not Sheamus, Hornswoggle. Yeah, it doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know what they should have done with the main event? They should have had Ambrose come back out and trip up Sheamus or something to have Reigns steal him and beat him. Why the hell not?
Yeah, why not?
Have a little Sheamus Dean Ambrose feud and go from there. Why not?
Yeah, I can see that happening. And right now,
actually, no. They should have done that and then had Ambrose get in the ring and just dirty deeds Reigns, even though he could still be a good guy. They could still be faces. Just have them do that and send the crowd home happy. What the hell?
Right. Yeah. That's what I would have done. But oh man, it is what it is. Fred, where do you see Bray Wyatt going from here? Same place he's been going. Absolutely nowhere.
Might not really see much of him until the Rumble when he goes up to WrestleMania feud, maybe. And at this point, who's he going to go against? Ambrose, Reigns, Kane.
The Big Show. Oh God, Scotty Harris says they should have given the Big Show a push if Sheamus was going to cash in. # push Big Show.
Should have given it to Kane if that's the case.
Yeah. Jesus Christmas. Yeah. So I guess is the TLC main event going to be Sheamus versus Roman Reigns? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I think it has to. I don't see unless you do Ambrose, but that wouldn't make any sense in a triple threat. Yeah.
Now, could you see Sheamus retaining at TLC, John Cena beating him at Royal Rumble for his 16th world title, and then having Cena put over Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
That means Reigns has to win the Rumble 2 years in a row.
Oh God!
No way in hell that's going to happen.
You just
he doesn't have to.
Hang on. No. You said no way in hell that's going to happen, but they just had Sheamus become WWE champion in 2015.
here's what I can guarantee, and I will guarantee this to everybody who's watching this right now. Either Cena or Reigns will win the Royal Rumble. I'll guarantee that right now, and I don't want either one of them to win at this point. Well, if they're going to do Cena and Reigns possibly, give me another scenario where one of them doesn't win.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I heard Undertaker and John Cena, but honestly, I don't want to see that for anything.
Yeah. Zippa's asking me when's the first WWE 2K DLC coming out. I think it's supposed to come out in December. That's usually when they come out with the first pack, but I could be wrong. Danny Boy 0619 says Bray Wyatt doesn't even look like he can win a mid-card belt. But the problem is with his character, what's his motivation?
Yeah.
His motivation isn't belts, so what is it? To have a beard?
I mean, there's nothing they can do with him at this point. There's really not. You can't be the new face of fear when you can't win a match. When he's losing to Undertaker and Kane, which is why he should have won tonight. Mm-hmm. He should have pinned Undertaker, but he should have pinned Kane.
Yeah. TK says, hashtag Fred for head of WWE Creative. No, I don't want that job, and I want to be able to hold that job. Oh, man. Zippa also asked, is there any PC release date for 2K16? Alan Wu says, I don't know, but check on Steam. Yeah, it might be a while. I think 2K15 came out on PC, but that game was no good. This game is a vast improvement from last year's, although I have not had a chance to play it as much as I've liked. Alan Wu says, Scott, you're not David Letterman. His kids are young compared to him.
Yeah, well, Letterman's like, 70, and his kid is 14. I get it, but...
Yeah. Mr. B's...
My whole point was I'm older than most everybody here, that's all.
Yeah, Mr. B says, my iPad worked well with the WWE app. That's cool. My
Roku actually streamed better than my laptop tonight, which has never happened in 2 years, so...
Yeah. Somebody here said the Paige bomb, like the pipe bomb, felt more like Paige whining than a real pipe bomb.
I'm kind of done with Paige at this point.
Yeah, it's...
The whole "this is my house" doesn't really work anymore, sorry.
Yeah. Russ Broski is talking about Kim Davis and something, and I don't think I should read that out loud.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, okay, Supaton 1. Fred, did you see Big E's tweet? Which one? This guy's got some great tweets. Let me go look and see. Oh, yeah, this is something I didn't realize. Something that David Schneider just pointed out. And by the way, David Schneider is a proud Carolina Panthers fan. Panthers are 10-0. And if you look at their upcoming schedule, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I would not be shocked if they actually went 16-0. And
they have a better chance than the Patriots.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to make a wild prediction. And it could be completely wrong by Monday. And I'm not saying I hope this happens, because I hope my New York Football Giants beat the Panthers, and I hope the Patriots end up losing every game the rest of the way, because I'm not a Patriots fan, although I love Cam Newton. I could see the Panthers and the Patriots going undefeated in the regular season and meeting in the Super Bowl.
Could you imagine that?
That would be kick-ass. That'd be significantly better than WWE Survivor Series 2015's ending.
That would have a hell of a storyline to it, wouldn't it? Yeah, Larry Johnson comes out, takes out Tom Brady or something. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Wow. Big E just tweeted, could have used that effort earlier, sandbagging ass. That's what Big E tweeted. Could have used that effort earlier, sandbagging ass. You know what sandbagging is, right?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, sandbagging is a term in wrestling used to describe somebody that doesn't go up for a move. So, for example, Scott and I are wrestling a match. I'm going up for a suplex. Scott's supposed to give me a little bit of like a jump so I can get him up. And instead, Scott just dead weights me, either intentionally or unintentionally. Who would he be referring to? Was there a point in time where Big E had a hard time picking somebody up? Because I was watching Walking Dead at the same time I was watching this.
The only thing I can think of is maybe that's why the New Day left with him, because they were saying he was hurt. Could that make sense?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Who eliminated him? God, I have to go back and watch but he hit the spear on somebody on the outside. I would assume he's talking about Ryback, but I really don't know.
Yeah, that's how I would assume too. It's not like Big E to tweet like that though.
Well, oh God, what?
He must be pissed off.
It would appear to be, but yeah, who would he be talking about? I mean,
come on, kids, you got to be better than that with social media. You know, you really do. Keep the drama in house. Don't be like that Ohio State running back that went off on his coach.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Although there is something to I guess in some ways that made me more endearing to that guy, because you know what, got far too often colleges get off on using these young men and not letting them make any money, but whatever. That's another debate. That's another debate for another day. Let's see.
Let's see if I can catch the replay. Oh no, they're not. They're trying to me around right now. So
yeah. Hey, you should be watching this match that's being simulated right now between.
I was, but now that I saw that tweet, I was going to see if I could catch up on it at the 45-minute mark.
Oh man, Reigns almost grabbed the title and then he just randomly let go. The AI in this game is so stupid. I have to say that the AI in this game, if you're simulating a match, is so dumb sometimes. But that's what makes it fun to watch. And as far as the simulation, somebody's asking me about. Oh no, Sheamus is gonna win. No. Why is it taking forever to Sheamus to grab the belt? And why is Roman Reigns just staring at him? Okay, wow, that was awful. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, my WWE 2K16 simulations, just for anybody that wants to know, it originally predicted that Reigns would beat Del Rio, which happened, beat Ambrose, which happened, Ambrose beat Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, beat Dolph Ziggler. I don't remember who won the Charlotte match. I think Charlotte ended up... Actually, who won? No, I think it was Paige.
Oh, yeah.
I think Paige won that, predicted Paige won, and then Undertaker and Kane won. So it was pretty much right. I think the Divas match was the only one it had wrong.
There was a spot in that 5-on-5 where Ryback was on the top rope and did a little, I don't want to call it a splash, but a splash onto everybody on the floor. But I doubt that would be the spot he was talking about.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, Big E's got some beef. Big E's got some big beef. Let me tell you. Terry Allen's asking me. Yeah, Terry Allen's asking me when we're gonna incorporate Skype again. I'll incorporate Skype again when I get my setup back, because I can't really do it right now with my PS4. And Sheamus just grabbed the title and won the match. A sign of things to come, perhaps. And by the way, closer to the pay-per-view, we'll do what we did for Survivor Series and pretty much simulate every match. Maybe, well, actually, what I'm supposed to be doing, and I feel bad because I thought I had Jay George's gamer tag, and then when I went live and was going to invite him, I realized I didn't, and it was too late, and we were already live on the air. But Jay George and I, give him a follow at JGeorge489. He's a pro wrestler, also now a pro WWE 2K16 gamer, and he's been doing some live streams, and him and I are probably going to hook up and compete. So rather than just have the computer simulate, I think him and I are going to do something where I play as one person. Say, for example, I play as Sheamus. He plays as Reigns, and we see who comes out on top, and then we see what happens on the pay-per-view. Oh, yeah. Sheamus.
What is Big E's Twitter handle? I can't find him.
It's at WWE Big E.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's damn, man. That's rough. I just retweeted it right now. He's.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Could have used that for earlier.
Yeah.
That was an hour. That was 51 minutes ago. That's like right at 11 o'clock. So.
Yeah. DB says.
Is he not talking about his match?
I don't.
Oh, maybe he's just talking about. I know what he's talking about. He's kind of trolling Sheamus because Sheamus won the title, but yet dropped out in the 5-on-5.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. In other words, he was sandbagging that match to win the title. That's what that means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not talking about that sandbagging. He's talking about not giving 110% sandbagging.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. Because that makes sense. So that means that they're trying to build up a Sheamus. Oh, God. Sheamus and Big E tomorrow night on Raw.
I don't think so. I wish. That'd be cool.
Never say never.
It's probably gonna be like. It's probably gonna be like.
That's exactly what that is.
It's probably gonna be Sheamus versus Zack Ryder or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be Sheamus versus Kalisto, and Kalisto will win.
Yeah. Ugh. Let's see. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte at TLC. If only. I mean, who is next for Charlotte then?
Brie Bella? I don't know. Alicia Fox. At least they can do double kicks to each other. That'd be kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, poor Nikki Bella. She's nursing a neck injury. She's trying to avoid surgery. I don't know if you've been following her online.
I did. They said it could be a career type of thing too, possibly.
That sucks, man. She's worked really hard.
Yeah, she has. Give her credit. Who could? Well, I mean, oh God, Charlotte could. I guess potentially Becky Lynch or Sasha, but I don't see them doing anything with Sasha. I don't know what that's about.
I think it's a part of Triple H that's maybe trying to protect her and knows that this Divas thing is a mess, so he's gonna wait till like Vince kind of gets more hands off with it, so you get more hands on.
Maybe, yeah.
But you know what though, but you know what though, this is what pisses me off about Triple H, and it's something that I think people don't ask enough about. Triple H has not only a responsibility to NXT, which I think he's done a great job with, but he has a responsibility to the main roster. And he's got to protect his guys. And if you look at some of the guys he's had from and girls he's had from NXT, right? Look at the Divas Revolution, quote unquote. All right? Look how horrible that's been. That's Triple H's pet project. How could you let that happen? I know your hands are tied and blah blah blah, but seriously, you are literally second in command, or at the very least, one of the few people that can go up to Vince and be like, dude, what the hell are we doing here? You know what I mean? And even if they gave the women short matches still, if they at least gave the women short matches with like decent storylines, I wouldn't complain as much as giving them long matches nobody cares about with the cloud of a horrible angle, like the Reed Flair thing. You know what I mean? Over it. And then you think about another thing. Seth Rollins is a Triple H guy. Yet Seth Rollins was booked horribly before he went down with his injury. He's been booked better these last 2 weeks, and he hasn't been wrestling because he's been injured compared to the last year when he was active.
I don't think Triple H has as much power as we think on the main roster. That's the problem.
But you know what though? I mean, you gotta protect some of your guys. You know what I mean? You gotta protect some of your guys. Really, he doesn't have the power to say, yo, Vince, let's not do this Reed Flair thing. Come on now. Okay, and from what I understand, according to Dave Meltzer and a bunch of people in the know, it's not like he exactly put up a fuss about it. It's not like there was a big argument with Vince McMahon and Triple H that said, hey, you shouldn't talk about Ric Flair's dead son and Charlotte's dead brother and exploit it and put these girls in a position to fail,
I think the failing, you're going to disagree with me here, but is it possible that maybe the matches in NXT with these women aren't as good as we think, but because the crowd is into them so much, they seem to be better than what they are?
No, I think the crowd makes it to some extent, but no, I think the Bayley matches, the Sasha Banks matches, and the Becky Lynch matches are all really good. Some great. No, I think they're great matches. I think well, here's the thing. I think Charlotte very clearly was overrated. All right, and she's getting pushed really, really hard, really, really soon. And we haven't been given a real reason to care about her, outside of the fact that she's Ric Flair's daughter, and she could do, you know what I mean. And in the case of Becky Lynch, she's got something that the crowd likes, and she's got a unique look, so that at least gives her a little more of a connection with the audience. But we haven't been given any reason to care about her either. And in the case of Sasha Banks, she showed a little bit of personality, and it definitely seems like the hardcore base is with her. But realistically speaking, the casual fan, or even the fan that occasionally watches WWE or whatever, I don't know if that's or like somebody that's not subscribed to network, or maybe subscribed but only watches the pay-per-views and whatnot, but maybe doesn't watch NXT. They haven't been given a reason to care about Sasha Banks. And in the case of the other divas outside of maybe Paige, they've been conditioned to not care about for years and years. So it's hard. It's
right.
it's hard to change that perception. You can't just bring somebody up and be like, okay, now start caring about the division. And unfortunately, they don't give these girls the leeway that they give, say, Ronda Rousey or Conor McGregor in the UFC to kind of be left, to some extent, be left on their own devices combined with the marketing arm to get over. Instead it's just kind of like this scripted garbage where they come across as crazy women, stereotypically crazy women.
That as a joke. That's the unfortunate part.
Exactly. Can you imagine if they actually let like Cesaro let loose and be himself, a little more of himself, or if they let Roman Reigns be a little more like himself, as we've seen on the ESPN and in some of the other media appearances and everything?
Oh, imagine you have Cesaro and Owens and Ambrose in a match where it's in Ring of Honor or something like that. My God.
Well, I don't think in the ring they're necessarily held back as much as like on the mic, like personality-wise. I think that's the problem with this scripted environment. But the women I think are suffering the most for sure. You know what I mean? They're getting more time. They're getting more time. I'm happy they're getting more time. But it doesn't matter. Again, I'll use another UFC reference here. It's like Demetrius Johnson. He's the 125-pound champion. You can tell me he's great. You can tell me he's one of the best fighters in the world, and he is. He's probably the best technical fighter to come in MMA in a long, long time in terms of technique and everything. He's great, but nobody cares about him. And we haven't been given a reason to care about him. And to be fair to UFC, it's not like he's given them a reason to really care about him. You know what I mean? As far as personality, like and everything like that. But you can tell me this guy's the best. You can tell me this guy is a beast. You can tell me this guy is one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, maybe one of the greatest of all time. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't connect, and if the company itself isn't doing more to give you a reason to care about this guy, I don't care how many main events you put Demetrius Johnson in, nobody's buying his fights. And it's the same thing with the Divas. You put Charlotte in the main event segment. You can put Paige in the main event segment. These girls are not as over as, say, Trish and Lita. And I'm not saying Trish and Lita were, amazing wrestlers. They were pretty good. Not great, I'd say. You know what I mean? But their combination of getting fans to care about them and the connection, whether it be as baby faces or heels, even in the midst of when the Divas weren't, a priority in WWE, they were cared about. They did have a connection.
Well, they told a good story. That's why. This isn't telling you a good story. Saying, oh, your dead brother, that's not a good story.
Yeah.
That's just poor taste.
Exactly.
And, not to cut you off, but, I don't think they were put in that main event spot, so to speak, on Raw to get over. I think they were put in that spot to fail.
I do too. I think maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think there are people in the company that clearly don't like some of Triple H's ways or yes men or what have you, and they figured, all right, well, you want the Divas in the main event? Let's put them in the main event. And how the hell did that table not break? I'm playing now Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose in a tables match. And Kevin Owens just tackled his fat ass into freaking Dean Ambrose, leaned up against the table in the corner, and the table didn't break. But it looks like it's been... And he just powerbombed Dean Ambrose right next to the table, perched in the corner, and Dean Ambrose didn't land on the table.
It's a video game. There's glitches.
And he got Irish whipped, and he tackled him again, and the table still didn't break. Is this table made of steel? What the hell?
Because Kevin, it's Diet Owens diet. That's why.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Is it possible to get Paige and Charlotte in like a weird tables match or something at TLC?
Oh God, no. And Kevin Owens, by the way, put Dean Ambrose through a table. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally. All right, let's take a few last tweets and questions here before we get out of here.
Mr. Racer asked if Survivor Series was worth watching. I was at work and I missed the whole thing. I mean, except for that Randy Orton cameo. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he's a huge Randy Orton fan. I mean, the ending, Del Rio and Roman Reigns is probably the best in-ring match, I'd say.
I mean, watching the Undertaker's entrance, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, other than that...
The Undertaker's cool.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Undertaker looks fantastic
for his age, for a guy that's had for a guy that's seemingly had at least one surgery every year the last 10 years. Yeah. Doesn't mean he should be wrestling though.
No, but he looks good.
Yeah,
I'm I mean, look, the main event, even though it wasn't a great match, wasn't horrible because it did go at it. There was no.
It just felt.
In that aspect, it wasn't bad.
It felt really rushed, and it was rushed. I mean, they were going for near falls at like 10:30. I was like, what the hell is this?
Well, but that's the whole thing, though, right? So the match is going to breeze by if you watch it, which wasn't bad. I would say watch the first match, watch the Undertaker.
I'd say you know what? Watch all the tournament matches. Watch the Undertaker's entrance. You know, you can watch the Undertaker match if you want, skim or just at least skim through it.
And everything else you'll see on Raw tomorrow. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, pretty much, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. Yeah. And let's see. Mr. Racer says Triple H or Sheamus won, which is not surprising. He's a Triple H guy. Yeah. And then lastly, let's see. Waylon Mercy, I don't think it's the real Waylon Mercy, says, Jim Ross says Cesaro may require shoulder surgery and may miss several months. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. That sucks. And
Waylon Mercy as your handle. My God.
Yeah, I know, right? And last one real quick. Somebody asked here, who got the better TV deal, ROH or TNA? For those that don't know, TNA is now on its third network in 2 years, and it's on Pop.
Really?
Yeah, it's on Pop TV. Yeah, in a year, it's on Pop TV, a channel that's available in more homes, but I don't think anybody really has heard of it. The former home of
the old TV Guide channel.
The old TV Guide, the old TV Guide channel that nobody watched, and the former home of Paragon Pro Wrestling, which is a promotion in Vegas that apparently paid for its own time in 2015, which is a really bad business model. Which is a very bad business model to have, in my humble opinion. But
and it came on at like 8 in the morning on Sunday.
6 a.m. 6 a.m. I think.
Yeah, Alan Rue, our good friend, said that the Pop Network is not available on one of the cable providers in Manhattan.
And I don't think it's available on Dish Network or DirecTV. One of the two, or both. Yeah, so I don't see him getting higher than maybe 200,000 viewers, which I would imagine is pretty high for that station.
Yeah, I think that's what I said, the same thing. And as far as Ring of Honor's deal goes, I mean, it could be good, but
they're on Comet. Comet is some obscure over-the-air digital channel from Sinclair.
It's brand new, isn't it? It's a brand new network.
Yeah, just launched last week. It's from.
It did launch officially.
Yeah, it's from Sinclair. It's owned by Sinclair, which is their parent company. And I mean, apparently they'll still be airing on Sinclair affiliates, but they'll also be airing on Comet. And it's gonna be tough for some people to get that channel.
I didn't know it was over the air. I didn't realize that.
I think it. I'm pretty sure it is over the air. I think so. It's
kind of like that Puff TV and all that thing.
I think it's like a digital. You kind of if you have a digital antenna, you can pick it up. It's.
But now they're still going to simulcast. Oh, not simulcast.
I think they'll still be on Sinclair affiliates, but that means I won't be able to watch it now. 'Cause I used to be able to watch it on Destination America, and now I can't unless I'm a Ringside member. And frankly, I have a lot of subscription services.
I think, my friend, I think not. And we're going to get personal here real quick as far as TV goes, but you're not that far away from me. WMCN, which is out of Atlantic City, Channel 44, they carry Ring of Honor. It's basically the internet show, but they carry it. I think it's Saturday nights.
Oh, well, I don't get that though. I get all the New York I'm in the New York area, so I get all the New York stations. So. Yeah, well, I'm sure I could see it. I'm sure I could figure out a way with a Ringside membership. I'll just re-sign up or something if I really want to watch it. So, not the end of the world. But who got the better deal? I mean, ROH, because they're still owned by Sinclair and they're on a Sinclair station. And Dean Ambrose looks like he's doing the moonwalk in this game now. But yeah, I'd say ROH by default. TNA, I mean, they were barely getting by with the Destination America money, and from what I understand, it was a lot more money than probably what Pop TV and other networks are going to pay them. So there you go. We'll see. I'm glad they're still in business. I'm glad they're still in business, even if they have no concept of good booking or social media. But it's what it is. It's what it is. So overall, folks, a decent pay-per-view. Pretty eventful. You give it a 4?
I give it a 4, brother. Yeah.
I'd give it a thumbs in the middle at least. There was some decent stuff in this pay-per-view.
Well, all
by the standards of like pay-per-views that were supposedly worth $50 back in the day, no. You know what I mean? It's not by the standards of a show that's $10, $9.99 a month. Pretty eventful. That rewarded you for watching for 3 hours. Look, we got a new champion. We had the cash in.
2 new champions.
Yeah, 2 new champions. So in that case, we had a couple. We had a couple good matches. In that case, it was fine. Did we have anything that I would say was great? No, I don't think we had anything that was great. I think the most disappointing thing, as I said before, was Ambrose and Reigns. I thought the match would have more heat. I thought it would be a lot better, but unfortunately, they ran too long, so they had to have that stupid 10-man tag match in the middle of the show. And, they literally just rushed like crazy. And, well, I think the crowd, well, they were pretty loud. I think they were just tired at that point,
The question is, how much different could this pay-per-view have been if Seth Rollins never got hurt? Things weren't scrambled because, we had rumors of Ambrose and Owens for the IC title, which could have been a really good match. Reigns doing his thing, although it could have ended the same way.
You know what? I think a motivated Reigns and Rollins, given time, even though we've seen that match before on free TV, I think it could have been a really, really good. I think actually it probably would have been great. And if Reigns had won and they didn't do that stupid cash-in, I think...
They still might have, so we don't know. But, I mean, the undercard matches could have been, in my opinion, a lot better tonight.
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about a tournament. Well, you wouldn't have to worry about a tournament and guys wrestling twice. You know what I mean?
I don't mind guys wrestling twice if you're going to do a tournament, but do it as a tournament. Don't just do it as guys wrestling twice.
Yeah. All right. Hang on. I'm sorry. This is a bit of I think this is a bit of a glitch here. Because as I'm podcasting right now, I'm simulating once again Owens versus Ambrose in a tables match, right? And get this, Kevin Owens ran at Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose reversed, moved out of the way. Owens went through the table, yet the match is still going on. And this is not like a tables match where you just are allowed to use tables because there's no referee in the ring.
I just caught it on the delay. That was horrible. Owens put his head down. Stop. That was pretty bad.
That was pretty bad, and yet the match is still going on. What the hell is this?
Put yourself through the table, it doesn't count.
Okay, what the hell is this? Really? If you put yourself through a table, it doesn't count? Tell that to John Cena. Tell that to John Cena in 2009 when he tripped and fell and lost his title to ironically Sheamus.
Yeah.
Oh God. Jeez. Oh yeah.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, we had the 25-year anniversary of the Undertaker. Now we're gonna have the 6-year anniversary of Sheamus winning his first world title. Oh God.
I tweeted this earlier, and he liked my tweet. This is also 20 years of Goldust. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And I think, to be perfectly honest with you, that might be more impressive.
That is.
When you really think about it.
And all the personal issues that Goldust had, and to still be in great shape, and to be in a good place in life, and presumably be sober and healthy and clean, and just, Dustin Rhodes.
For that character to be going on that long.
Yeah, no, Dustin Rhodes is awesome, yeah. God bless him. But
and he looked pretty good tonight, too, when he came back. There's a couple moments. So
yeah.
Hopefully they'll go to him and Cody at WrestleMania. That's who started out the pre-show match, him and Cody. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's do the late Dusty a solid and do that match.
I don't think it's gonna happen at WrestleMania. They'll probably do it at some obscure, B pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah, they would probably do it on like the pre-show or some stupid stuff like that.
Oh God.
But,
oh well. Well, folks.
Next to be Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're gonna get on out of here. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. For those listening on SoundCloud, if you're hearing the crowd noise in the background a little bit, that's because we were simulating on YouTube some TLC matches as we were talking. I'm hoping to get my live setup back probably in a few days, maybe like a week or so. I'm actually going to be on vacation, going to beautiful Phoenix, Arizona for Thanksgiving week. Should be fun. Going to relax a little bit. Let my hair down, just chill out, get some sun. Going to be significantly warmer than it is right here, right now in the New York, New Jersey, and Delaware area where Scott and I reside. But we hope you guys have a phenomenal Thanksgiving week. We hope that you guys stay home on Thanksgiving, okay? I don't want to hear about anybody going to buy some freaking gifts or buy whatever on Thanksgiving. Do not do shopping on Thanksgiving, please. Okay, this whole trend of retail stores opening on Thanksgiving, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So please, be with your family. Chill out. If you want to shop Black Friday, shop Cyber Monday. But stay safe. Enjoy. Do your thing, guys. I'm going to get out of here. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please follow us on Twitter at Sports Courier, at TSC News on Instagram, Facebook.com/The Sports Courier. If you want to check out my video game channel, where I have a bunch of video game reviews, not just of 2K16, but of like Tomb Raider, Call of Duty, you name it, YouTube.com/TSC Gaming. And if you're new here, you can, of course, subscribe to TSC News, the channel you're watching and listening to this podcast on right now, SoundCloud.com/TSC News. Hopefully, this podcast will officially be on iTunes within the next couple days. I submitted it to the iTunes store, so hopefully within the next couple days. If you want that podcast on your iTunes, in the meantime, you can ask me for the RSS feed, and I'll tweet you a link to that. So, all that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Scott, thanks so much. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And until next time, everybody, woo! As always, enjoy the matches. Woo!